Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to FitTalks. My name is Bill Pinus, and I'm here with Cheri Tree, who is the CEO of Codebreaker Technologies. We're actually here at our convention at Inspire in Orlando, Florida, and really excited about having this discussion. So welcome, Cheri.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
And we heard you speak last night, so very, very impressed. But most people may not know who you are. So why don't you share a little bit about yourself and where you came from and how you got to where you're at today?
Yeah, well, graduated from college, read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, probably one of the best books that completely shifted my mind. And I remember the author saying, if you're going to be great in business, you got to be great in sales. And I knew I wanted to be a business owner. So I got involved in sales and I found a way to jump in. I became a financial advisor, and that's where I got my start.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, one thing that I find interesting is that when we're implementing your technology into our business, I think it's going to be a game changer. Our people responded to it incredibly. How the things that you talked about, where did you learn them? How did you the skills? You're one of our keynote speakers, incredible speaker. How'd you learn it?
I learned it by practicing. I mean, I think like anything, practice, you become really good at it. And speaking was a talent, and learning how to influence. So I think just doing the reps early on in my career, I would do presentations and little group seminars, and I'd get up in front of the room, and it wasn't pretty in the beginning, Bill. I was wearing green corduroy pants. There's pictures of me. It's so sad. Penny loafers with dimes in them, and I had a mullet. And I look back, and it completely explains why my first year income was $700.
You crushed it. You crushed it.
Yeah, crush or be crushed. I got crushed.
I understand. But you stuck with it.
Yeah, I stuck with it.
And then, the second year you had a little bit more of some success, and then the third year success. But then you realized you needed to change something. So can you walk through kind of how that process happened?
Yeah, so I was really deep into it. I wanted to follow the system. I wanted to follow the playbook. I knew that I wanted to be successful. But what I found out was that what they kept telling us was that sales was a numbers game. And they basically told us that in order to get more yeses, we had to get more nos. So it put me on the track to really hustle and grind. I remember literally having 10 pennies in my pocket. I wouldn't go home until I went and talked to 10 prospects and transferred those pennies and dialed for dollars. And
I remember.
I got myself to where I was working 60 to 80 hours a week. And my income 5 years into it was at $72,000, right? And the company said, hey, great job. I won some awards and a few trips, but I was so broke. I was $30,000 in credit card debt. I'm renting an apartment, couldn't qualify for a home, and I'm driving a salvage title BMW playing the fake it till you make it game. Yeah. Bill, no joke. This BMW, first of all, it was a BMW, so I felt like I had arrived in one way.
Right.
But it would just spontaneously die. I could never park in front of my client's home because I'd go out and the car wouldn't start, and I had to get a set of jumper cables and then a battery because sometimes I'd be so stranded no one could even give me a jump.
Wow.
And I was sitting across from a husband-wife couple telling them where they should invest their entire financial portfolio. And they talked amongst themselves and they looked back at me and they said, Cheri, where do you put your money? And that was like a moment of truth because I was like, oh no, I don't have any money. That's why I want your money. Give me your money and then I'll tell you where I'm going to invest my commissions.
Right.
So I felt like such a hypocrite. And it reminded me of this other quote from Kiyosaki where he said, stop taking advice from people more messed up than you.
Yeah.
At that moment, I felt so out of integrity that I kind of went internal and I said, man, something's broken. And I'm not sure if it's me that's broken or it's the system that's broken. And that's when I discovered it actually wasn't me. It was the system that was broken, and it was programming me to fail by brainwashing me to believe one of the greatest lies ever told, sales being a numbers game.
Interesting. And that's true. Yeah, the way to get more yeses is to get more yeses for sure.
Yes.
Yes, very, very true. Now, walk me through, what is bank? What does that stand for?
Yeah. So the secret I discovered was that sales wasn't a numbers game, it was a people game. And as I shifted my focus from sales to people, I started studying people. And as I studied people, I started learning about personality types. And it dated back thousands of years to Hippocrates, right? 2,500 years ago, the Greek philosopher figured out he could divide the entire world into 4 different groups. And he could treat them with medicine differently. And he called that the theory of the 4 temperaments. Okay, so when you fast forward to our modern day, there's been all these different personality assessment models created, like DISC or MBTI, or what color are you, what animal are you, what astrology sign are you. And I took a lot of those assessments, millions of people do. And in the beginning, I was fascinated with what I learned about myself, like, oh, cool. But my fascination turned into frustration because not one single one of those assessment models ever made me more money.
Right.
Not one of them ever helped me close more sales.
Right.
And I remember thinking, wait, if it's been proven for thousands of years that there's 400 types of people, I wonder if they make buying decisions differently. And I wonder if what makes one person say yes makes another person say no. And that's when I had this idea, and I said, okay, show me the assessment who can tell me not who I am, no customer ever cared. Show me who my buyer is, and reveal to me why they buy. What triggers a yes or a no outcome? And that assessment model didn't exist, so I said, I'm going to build my own. But instead of basing it in psychology like every other assessment model, I built mine in what I call biology, spelled B-U-Y-ology.
Biology, I love
which is the science of buying behavior.
Yeah, I love it.
And that was the game changer, and I gave it the acronym of BANK.
Interesting. And those 4 types are process-driven.
Yeah, blueprint.
Then you have nurturing, which is really more relationship driven. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm going to the ones I remember.
Yeah.
So bank A is action,
Yeah.
and that's people that they want quick hit, the dopamine. They want to move,
Massive
fast
action,
and fast,
opportunity seeker.
speed, right?
Yeah.
Then you got N for nurture, which is really more about relationships and community, and then knowledge, which is they need data, they need information to make their decisions. Is that correct?
That's exactly right.
And one thing I find interesting is of the 4 people, because I've cracked my code and know that I am a blueprint action person.
Yeah.
When I go into thinking about how other people are, I realized that there was a person that was a K. And I quickly realized that it wasn't about building a relationship, and it wasn't even talking about the actions that they needed to take. It actually was the information I needed to give them, and then the process in which they follow. And all of a sudden, went from being very close-minded to now I'm interested and I'm ready to take some more steps.
Yep.
Did you find that to be true?
That's exactly how it works. So, and the K personality type is typically the hardest to close because the truth is you can't close a K. A K has to close themselves.
Got it.
And they can only do that when you give them enough of the empirical data that they no longer have any guesswork or questions, and they're convinced that they're making the right decision.
Got it.
If there's the risk that they might be making a wrong decision, then they will stall out the process and they'll get stuck in analysis paralysis, trying to fill in the gaps until they can logically conclude that this is a no-brainer to move forward.
Got it.
So the key is to take them to no-brainer in the shortest period of time possible.
Understand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Now, many of our people that are watching are from are either our company or our clients of our company. Why should a person take the bank code, the code breaker about bank, and then why should they have their clients or customers or even teammates take it?
Yeah, well, look, I brought a prop, okay? So for those of you watching this on camera, I wanted to come up with a really cool, fun, interactive, kind of gamified way that I could crack the code of my clients, right? So I created a set of 4 cards. These are the bank cards, right? So blueprint, action, nurturing, knowledge, and I've assigned them a color to it. Well, what I would do early on with my clients, Tony Robbins said, let your prospect determine your presentation. So I said, okay, if that's the case, I need to crack their code before I go into my pitch, right? Like what I'm talking about, my message.
Right.
So I came up with these 4 cards and let's do a little role play.
Sure.
I'd say, hey, Bill, do me a favor before we get started. Take a look at those 4 cards.
Okay.
And I just want you to prioritize them and put them in order of most like you and most important to you down to least like you, least important to you. This is going to help me serve you better and save us both some time.
Gotcha. And I find that there are some on things that are important to me, but not as many on different cards.
That's right.
So that would be my first.
I'll tell them that there's no right or wrong to it. It's literally a personal preference.
Yep. Yeah, that should be mine.
What's cool is that actually spells out the bank acronym.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like that's the winner chicken dinner one. That's cool. So once I know that sequence, and by the way, doing this exercise And especially for people who might be more skeptical, like, will my client really crack their code? The reality is they do it every single time. Their curiosity engages them.
Yeah.
The topic on the cards is about them, not you.
Right.
And I use the personality science to engage them, right? So like when I say, take a look at the cards, I'm talking to your knowledge part of your code. When I ask you to sequence them, I'm talking to your blueprint.
Right.
When I tell you this is going to help me serve you better, I'm talking to your nurture. And
Yep.
when I end with save us both some time, I'm now talking to your action.
Aha.
It's very important to understand that your clients are all four codes. So every human in the world is part blueprint, part action, part nurturing, and part knowledge. And that's what I call their bank code. So if you think of a bank code like a PIN code, the goal is to know that 4-digit sequence, right?
Yeah, right.
And then communicate to them in that sequence. So when you put it in this priority, when you put the blueprint card first, that means I'm going to go through a process with you. I can't skip steps. I need to reveal the timelines, the milestones, the budget, the risks, how we're going to mitigate risks, etc.
Yep.
And I know that you need that in order to move forward. Once there's a framework and a plan, then you are ready to take action. Now let's hit it. We've got a plan in place. Let's punch the pedal to the metal.
That's right.
Right? You're not just going to go crazy throwing spaghetti noodles against the wall. If that were first position, the plan would be less significant. You're the type that needs the plan first, and then you'll execute, right? Nurturing.
100% of the time.
Right? Okay.
100% of the
so
time.
if you know that, now whatever your message is, whether we're dealing with life insurance or health and wellness or come join my business or whatever, I know that about you by just knowing your code.
Aha.
This is where it gets so easy. It's literally like identifying where the bullseye is, and then our system tells the salesperson, here's exactly how to hit the bullseye.
Yeah.
But it's based in the art and science of influence. And I think this is a really key point for those of you watching, is this is not based in manipulation. Okay, this is emotional intelligence at its finest. And sometimes when I'm cracking the code, I will then go on to explain why I want them to do it. Okay, let's say you have a little bit of skepticism or possible resistance.
Yeah.
I will say, Bill, if you look at these cards, if you realize at the top of the card is the word values, if you're willing to share your values with me, then I can prioritize our time together based on what's most important to you, instead of potentially wasting your time based on what's more important to me. You say that to a real customer, what do you think happens to their respect level and trust level with you?
No, it goes way up.
Way up.
Way up.
Right?
Yeah.
And traditional sales training says people will buy from you when they know you, like you, and trust you.
100%.
So automatically you just totally escalated the trust factor. What other salesperson is actually doing this in a meaningful way that cares about them to the point that I want to serve you based on how you want to be served?
Got it.
Right? The platinum rule concept.
Yep.
And then now you can lay out exactly what matters most to them. And every person has triggers and tripwires. A trigger is what moves you to yes. A tripwire is what's going to make you say no.
Got it.
So this code reveals where the triggers and tripwires are, so that I know how to navigate that conversation in the shortest period of time possible. So short means we can collapse time frames.
Right.
We can shorten sales cycles. So the speed of getting to a yes is dramatically shortened. That's what creates sales velocity, or the hockey stick growth.
Yes.
Now you got people using this, they're able to get to yes faster and faster. It's like shooting it into the bullseye every single time.
So speaking of that, you've used this obviously for a number of years, and you've obviously created it and tested it and those things. Tell the stories of how it took you from being, frustrated and low income to extremely energized and high income with a duplication process that other people could do that. So walk us through that story.
Yeah. So my first year using this as an experiment, my income went from $72,000, where I was really stuck, hustle and grind, burning the candle, to over $500,000. So I had a 7x increase in income, and I did it in 1/3 the time.
Wow.
I was now working 20 to 30 hours a week, making 7 times my income by just doing this framework with my clients before I would give them the message. And so it became so easy that at that point, the question was, is this transferable? Is this a system that only works for Cheri Tree?
Right.
Or could it work for another agent? And I began training it to my sales teams. And then I started watching their results, and they started using the bank system. And I had people who had been doing the business for over 10 years that had not broken through 100,000. Using this, they broke 100,000, $250,000, $500,000, and $1 million in income in less than 12 months. Wow. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? So I ended up implementing this, and I made it mandatory as I could make it. Like, our agents all use the bank system. We wouldn't do a meeting, we wouldn't have a phone call, we wouldn't do a presentation without collecting that code.
Got it. Oh, that's wonderful. It's brilliant too.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch gears, talking from sales into, you use the word influence, and I believe leadership is all about influence.
Yeah.
And many times when people are really good leaders, it's about the option and opportunity to serve rather than to be served.
That's right.
And walk through how this has helped in leadership development and then obviously leadership execution.
Yeah, so influence is critical. So I say this is the art and science of influence. And again, the framework dates back thousands of years.
Right.
Interestingly, the student of Hippocrates was Aristotle, and we've all heard of Aristotle.
Absolutely.
He built the diagram of influence. And he said, if you want to be a master of influence, you need to communicate with ethos, logos, and pathos, Greek words. Well, here's the cool part. Ethos means that you have credibility and authority when you're talking with that customer. That's the blueprint part.
Got it.
Right? You're professional. You have that credibility. Pathos is passion, which is the emotion. Well, there's two cards that are the emotion cards. This is the emotion of ego, making money, having fun, controlling your life. This is the emotion of the heart, building the relationships, love, connection, and so forth.
Right.
So your communication has to have a dose of those. And then logos is the Greek word for logic,
right.
which is the K card, right? Now the knowledge piece needs it to connect the dots. If what you're saying doesn't make sense, think politics, think religion, think whatever, business. Your communication, messaging, marketing, and so forth has to be built in a framework where all four codes are present.
Got it.
If that's the case, and then you can communicate deliberately in the sequence of the person you're talking to, you become a master of influence. So one of the cool byproducts of this is when you speak someone's code, you rarely get objections. Traditional sales training teaches you how to overcome objections.
Right.
What if you just never even got them? Because you were so dialed into their code, there's no resistance.
Interesting. Yeah,
You
that would
just
be
meet their
unbelievable.
needs.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Let's go.
All right. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So you've been here for your first convention of our company. What has stood out to you about the people of FinFit Life? Because it seems like each company has like its own culture. But be interested to hear what your thoughts are on that.
First of all, I love your people. Like your people are phenomenal. The FinFit Life, like you guys are awesome. It's a culture of people who love people, and they love opportunity, and they love growing teams, leadership. They want to help other people, right? They're hungry, and they believe that this is the opportunity that's going to set their family free. They believe that the products are truly good for their customer base, which I deeply believe in. It's brilliant, the idea of merging the insurance, life insurance, lifestyle insurance with, and the financial freedom with your health, right? Because we all know that money without health is
nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Right? You'll spend all the money to regain your health.
And you may not do that either.
Yeah.
You might still lose your health.
And so to genuinely have a company that says, hey, we actually want to prolong your life like at least another 5 years.
Yeah.
So you've got a great community of people, and now they're hungry. But a lot of people don't join this industry with skill sets in sales or influence or presentation or speaking or,
Right.
And so we need to boost their confidence. And I think Les Brown, he gave us a really amazing endorsement behind the bank system. And he said, look, this system can do 3 things. Strengthen your confidence. You will become so much more confident when you know the bank code of the person you're talking to, right?
Agreed.
Because you don't have to fear where the no, rejection or resistance or objections are going to come from, right? You just automatically know what's important to you. So that fear goes away. I'm way more confident.
Right.
Number 2 is expand your selling skills, or what I like to call your influence skills.
Got it.
They're going to become very influential in learning how to communicate. And this is a system that works not just in the business, but in the home.
Okay.
Right? We built a whole course on relationships, dating, parenting, marriage. You'd be blown away at how the code impacts a marriage. I had 2 guys come up to me, 3 guys. They were in their young 20s. And they're like, hey, can this system work for dating? And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have people using this all the time for dating. I mean, go to the bar, crack the code of the girl, and watch what happens, right?
Right.
I mean, they were like, oh my gosh, I love it, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So the point is, it totally works. Your people are just fantastic. So strengthen their confidence, expand their selling skills, and then dramatically increase their income.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, Bill, they're here to make money.
That's exactly
And maybe
right.
money isn't everything, but it's so important for a family to get financially fit.
And to your point, this is a business. It's not a charity.
That's right.
And when you go into business, you need to make money. You need to make a profit.
That's right.
And that's what actually makes a good business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it adds good service and get profit, it's a great business.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And when people are making money, like attracts like. Like the momentum will absolutely engage. People will want to come be involved, and it's begun to become magnetic.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. And I wanted to maybe switch gears a little bit too. And we just talked about and touched about leadership, but part of the leadership is from a self-leadership of yourself and things that are important to you. It is important to know thyself. There's no doubt about it. And our philosophy at FinFit Life is about financial fitness, physical fitness, and a lifestyle to enjoy it. So how do you get your money working for you? How do you get your body working for you? And then how do you actually, what we call live on purpose of serving others, which is right in the bank system. It's fantastic. But I noticed something in your pictures that you showed last night. You've had a life transformation because you look different than you did several years ago. What happened?
Yeah. So, well, I got overweight, unfortunately, in the process of building my business and not having that be a top priority, right? Meals and deals, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And I used to be athletic and I used to be totally in shape. And then I just let that creep away to the point where, I mean, I got up to like 226 pounds, and you look at me, like I look back at those pictures and I'm like, what in the heck? Right? How does that happen? We've got massive problems with obesity in America. My wife is Dutch. So she's from the Netherlands. She's from Europe. They're fit. Their food is clean.
Yep.
They have a priority of lifestyle over there and balance and well-being.
Yep.
And over in America, like the first thing she said when she came to America is, I can taste sugar in everything.
Yeah.
Everything has sugar in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's had to be very deliberate living in America. Now that we're married, we have a little 5-year-old son.
Congratulations.
Very careful eating. If you're not careful, unfortunately, like it's not going to be good. So she wants me to lose weight. She's an action type. She wants me to look good. I'm up on stage, and I remember one of my mentors said, "Success isn't fat."
Yeah.
And that hurt me really bad, but it's because I had gotten fat. And it just doesn't look good,
Interesting.
right? It's hard to influence someone when you don't look like a person of influence.
Mm-hmm.
Fit and financially fit is sexy. And when you're sexy and attractive, you are able to influence more. So my wife was like, look, after being married for so long and I only moved the needle maybe 20 pounds, she's like, if you're not going to do it for me, do it for our son. And we had a little baby. And I realized, like, man, I have to get this dialed in. And I saw someone post on Facebook about 75 Hard. I'd never heard of it. Andy Friselli's program on 75 days of just complete total discipline.
Yep.
And I'd had tremendous discipline in business. Like I was like an Iron Man in business.
Yeah.
But in my fitness life, I was like Clark Kent, right? So Superman, Clark Kent, my
Right.
kryptonite. So I said, I need to do 75 days of this to redevelop my discipline. And that got me on track. I then joined CrossFit. I started working out every single day, eating good foods, and just shifted my priority to where it's not negotiable anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I love your company. And when I was learning about what FinFit Life was all about and how you guys merged fitness, I had some people text me, hey, I bought a new Apple iWatch recently. And someone's like, you could have gotten that for free if you were part of FinFit. And I was
right.
like, what are you guys talking about? FinFit Life. So I love what you're doing because that's a healthy motivation. It's appropriate to combine those two factors together. And yeah.
I noticed when you were telling that story, you got emotional. And it's interesting because the way you look and the way you feel has a deep emotional impact on you. What's interesting about what you mentioned is that very few people will do what you did, where they just make a drastic change, because you didn't get there overnight, and most people can't get out of it overnight.
Yeah.
For me, every year I gained on 2 to 3 pounds. And next thing you know, I'm 260. I'm a big guy. 260, I could carry it, but I felt sluggish.
Yeah.
I didn't move very well. I didn't sleep very well. When I woke up, I was hurting, and I snored like crazy. And all of a sudden, when I started with FinFit Life in 2020, and when we launched the company, I became a client at first. And all of a sudden, I started just making these small changes, just walking a little bit, etc. And all of a sudden, I started to lose a little weight, lost at the time of 20 pounds. And all of a sudden, my wife really started liking me more. I said, "What's up?" And she said, "You're not snoring anymore when you're sleeping." Game changer. And those little game changers start to happen.
Totally.
I'm going to bring it back then into the system of bank. I noticed that sometimes the little changes of words give more influence, but more importantly, you get more productivity. So, for example, we've noticed you were part of the presentation, we talked about vitality. A person who does nothing and starts to do something has literally almost the entire impact of a person who's been working out their whole life, because their body reacts so greatly to that little good behavior change. How does that, if one, I'd like to hear your comments on that. And then second is, those little changes in your words, how does that affect people's business, sales, leadership? I'd love to hear those.
Yeah. So I think, we're students of personal development, right?
Yep.
You guys read those books.
Absolutely.
Feed your mind.
Yep.
Which is part of the success formula: mindset plus skill set plus tool set, right?
I loved it.
Jet set.
Loved it. I love it.
So it's the small daily habits, when done consistently over time, are going to create those incremental and then massive long-term results.
Right.
Right. And we're in it for the long term, not the short term.
That's right.
And so it's about those small daily improvements. Every single day, just get 1% better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to do extra, great. You maybe start with steps.
Right.
If you're not doing any steps, then like the Apple Watch buzzes me every hour, time to stand up. Like little things like that are great little reminders. Oh, time to drink more water.
Right.
Go for a walk.
Right.
I got the Peloton, the bike and the treadmill, and then I'd start to do some of my meetings while I'm on the treadmill. Like if I'm doing internal meetings where I normally be sitting there on a Zoom, I'm now on a Peloton on my iPad. So I'm walking while I'm doing it, or phone calls while you're out. Like there's little things that you can do. And this is also like just get some base hits, get some yeses, close some sales,
right?
Grow your agency, and all of a sudden you start realizing that just like compound interest, compound work ethic starts to kick in, compound growth. And that's how I went from 72,000 to $500,000 to over $1 million. And then it just went like a zoom, for me.
It's awesome. I'm as I cross my arms and perplexed, I think of all of the times that I totally transformed my life came from a point where I just said enough is enough.
That's right.
And I need to change. Or they give me a complete, very obvious option: stay the same, and here's a pathway to doing something more productive and having unbelievable amounts of return. Maybe my blueprint. Here's a system to do this.
Yeah.
I have found that has been the greatest changes in my life. Have you found that to be true for you and people, that especially if they're doing this system, that pathway to success?
Yeah, absolutely. It all starts with a decision. I mean, what are you going to settle for? Look, one day changed my entire life. The vice president at the agency where I was at, I was feeling really discouraged. I wasn't making much money. I'm doing all the training, and I'm still broke. And he could see the look of discouragement on my face one day in the office. And he was like 6'7", massive, big guy.
Yeah.
He said, "Cheri, I'm going to teach you a lesson you're never going to forget." And he put his hand up on my shoulders and he looked at me in the eye, and I'm looking up at him, and he said, "You can either make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both." And like that hit me to my core that day. Is like, that one saying changed my entire life, because you could no longer come up with any excuse, no matter what it is, and have that statement work for you now.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it stripped every single excuse out of my mouth or out of my thought patterns.
Right.
And therefore, I just had to show up. I just had to do it and do it and do it and get it done. And that's what I chose to do.
Oh, I love it. That's and it's true. I found in my life is there's a lot of times we rest on these little small excuses. They're still excuses, and those are the ones that hold you back. I have a saying that says the lies you believe hold you in bondage.
Yeah.
And I find that those little lies are usually the excuses that you accept.
That's right.
Yeah. No.
You make your goals non-negotiable, and we all hear, connect it to your why. Like, why is this really important to you? Is it your family? Is it your finances? Is it your children, your legacy? Like, what is it? And then lock into that reasoning and then let that drive you, because motivation is temporary. Like, we can get them all hyped up and jumping up and down from stage, and then they go home and a few days later they're like back to reality. And that's why I love the name of your conference, because motivation's temporary. Inspiration has to come from the inside.
100%.
Right? And let that fire burn inside.
Yeah, it's so true. And I'd like you to maybe dive a little deeper in something that you've learned based on the bank system that you just mentioned about the goals and dreams and things that sort. How does that apply to what we're talking about here?
Well, let's go back to the formula. I just kind of whipped it out, but let's break it down. So my formula for success starts with mindset. Like, you really have to have a positive mindset. You can't be wired to the negative and the glass is half empty and the sky is falling and the world's going to blow up. I mean, right? So you got to feed your mind. And this is where reading the books and listening to the audios or the podcasts and surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded people. The FinFit Life community is a great community to help you solidify the positive mindset.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's part of it. And then skill set. You must develop the skill sets to do the work. So you, in FinFit Life, you've got to get good at talking to people. You've got to get good at explaining the policy. You've got to get good at, communication and influence and so forth, and sharpen those skills every single day. Get better and better and better.
Without a doubt.
The marketplace will reward a master of their craft.
That's right.
Right? And then plus Toolset. There's now tool sets that you can use. And what you guys have put together in your starter kit programs here and so forth, from the fuel program, the Codebreaker bank program, the Biz IQ program, artificial intelligence, like we have Codebreaker AI. We can decode someone in nanoseconds. I can pull up your LinkedIn profile, push our AI button, and have the AI read your entire LinkedIn, generate a bank code prediction, and guide me on exactly how I need to engage with you.
Wow.
Right? How do I communicate with you? How do I sell to you? How do I recruit you to my agency and so forth? All using AI. So use those tools to your advantage. Just like if I said, go chop down that tree, it might be nice to have some tools.
Right.
To do that. Like, you're not going to...
Yeah, you can't chop it with my hand.
No, that's going to be a bad day.
Right.
So mindset plus skill set plus tool set equals jet set. And now jet set represents the life that you want to live.
Right.
It doesn't mean you need to be a multimillionaire, but it means that you get to live life on your terms, whatever that is.
Right. Yeah, whether it be traveling, whether just have more control of your time or more control of your finances. I remember when I was a kid, and many people are like this. It sounds like you were like this at some point in your life. We'd go to a restaurant, and I would read the menu right to left. I was always look at the prices first before I ever looked at what it was, because if I had to make sure it was within my budget.
No, I never was like that. That's your blueprint.
Is that right?
And action's like, I want whatever I want, and then look at the price and like, oh shoot, maybe
See,
I need
just
to dial it
learned
down.
something new. I just learned something
Fake
new.
it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. I never heard anybody say that, but that's exactly what a blueprint would do.
Yeah, all the time. So what in your situation, your action?
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm just going to get what I want,
Yeah.
and I'll worry
and
about
I'll
the
find a way to
consequences.
afford it.
Aha.
See, I heard in life, like, you can either want less or earn more. And
Right.
I chose the path of, well, I want to earn more because
Right.
I don't want to limit myself.
That is absolutely. Thank you. That just had an aha moment.
Yeah, it is, right? That's
Yes.
that's how cool the code is.
Yes.
The code is everywhere. It's like the Matrix. It's
Yes.
always around you, and every person is living in it. It's just you have the eyes to see it.
How long did it take you to see that?
I started off like a white belt. Literally, these cards used to be 3x5 cards, all white, and I just wrote words on them.
Yeah.
And I'd hand them to my client as an experiment. I didn't even know if it would work.
Yeah.
But every time I handed it to them, they'd sort them and hand it back. And then I would practice based on those sets of values. Could I intuitively lean into that value set and deliver my message? And would it unlock a yes, or did it tripwire a no? And if I got a no, I would begin to document. Like the guy, I showed up 10 minutes late to sign a contract, and he said, I'm no longer going to do business with you. And I'm looking at him like, why? You just told me to meet you. And he said, because you're late, you've disrespected my time. And if this is the way you treat me before you have my money, imagine how I think you'll treat me once you have it.
Interesting.
Well, that guy was a blueprint. And he had a set of rules, and punctuality was one of them. And I broke that rule, which means I violated his code of ethics for doing business. And therefore, I was no longer worthy to write his business.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I started connecting those dots. There's several hundred triggers and tripwires that are connected to the code, like a booby trap. You got a ticking time bomb vest on, and I got to defuse that real quick.
Right.
So that's how I taught myself, and I just began using it every single day. And the more I used it, the better I got, and the faster I got to yes, which made it now non-negotiable.
So how long did it take you to I'll call, as you said, the marketplace rewards those that master their craft.
Yeah.
And being in the people business, they say that the greatest business to be is in the people business. How long did it take you to master this?
Well, if you look at my income as maybe a factor of mastery, so my first year going to $500,000, by my third year I was over $1 million, and at that point, I was getting really good at bank, and I was teaching it to all my sales teams.
Got it.
Right, completely implementing it. Then at that point, I started getting asked to go teach it to other sales teams unrelated to my business.
Got it.
I was part of the Chamber of Commerce. That's part of where I went networking and prospecting. And there in the chamber, we began cracking codes. And maybe the realtor wanted us to teach their office the bank system, or maybe the automotive dealership wanted me to teach it to them, and so forth. And then the size of the audiences started to grow. Could you come teach it at our conference? And then eventually I got picked up on the biggest stages in the world with Tony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki, Sir Richard Branson. I mean, probably the largest audiences that I've taught this in front of is over 20,000 people.
Wow.
Teaching the bank system. So
Wow.
I became the world's #1 expert on personality science and buying behavior.
Wow. Well, unbelievable. And I've noticed that and saw it yesterday. What does a company like us, which is adopting this, what do you see are the traits of a company that actually is committed and actually would see that lift, need to do in order to actually have that lift?
That's a great question, because we've had some people that have had good intentions,
Yep.
but they didn't have the discipline for implementation. The fact that you're
That's my
blueprint
B.
first,
Yeah.
this has to become a system that gets implemented. It has to be baked in at every single step point. You're meeting with a customer, you crack their code. Once you crack their code, these are the script patterns that you can deliver to get a yes from that code. You're joining our business, crack your code. You're promoting the convention, send out an email 4 different ways, right?
Right. Right.
Segment your customer list, segment your agent list, communicate to them in the way that they're designed to be communicated, and put this at every single touch point. And now, on the data analytics side, you can start connecting the dots. You can say, who are our top producers? What are their bank codes? What are the trends like?
Yeah.
I have noticed, for example, that the top producers across every industry, if I were to just generalize it, are action first, nurturing second, and then tied for the sequence of this doesn't matter. But the action is the one where they're just going to go out there and make it happen.
Yeah.
They will throw spaghetti noodles against the wall. They're not going to sit on their butt. But they've got a heart to love people. So they're extremely charismatic. They're approachable. And they are great with influencing that outcome, but driving it. If they're nurturing first, they can still be great, but they'll start to tiptoe and dance around. Maybe it gets uncomfortable or awkward in the sales process. Maybe they won't complete the sales conversation because there was some resistance. Their heart is trying to be sensitive versus an action's like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
we call that stumble forward, stay confused.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
What's the combination that ends up being probably the worst scenario? Is there a worst scenario
in terms of a code?
in terms of code to sell?
I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, well, that's my code and I'm never
Well, we
going
can
to
do
make
that
it.
offline then. Yeah, we'll do it offline. But it was interesting because I find that for people that were coaching football, there was a specific type of person that was really good. And then there was a type of person that was okay. Then there was another type of person that was miserable at it.
Let's just talk about it, because I do think awareness is key. Someone who's going to be more on the knowledge side, where they will get themselves stuck in analysis paralysis, and they feel like they can't begin until they're an expert. But meanwhile, they're not getting the reps in that makes them master it. It's like saying, I'm not going to go to martial arts until I'm a black belt. But it's like, you got to start as a white belt.
Makes
so
sense.
just
Yeah.
start kicking some boards or something. You know what I mean? Karate chop something.
Do something.
Do
That's
something.
Right. That's right.
Get into your action.
Yes.
So what I teach, because every person is all four parts, what I love about this, and you're a spiritual guy, is that God put divinity inside of you. He gave you infinite possibility by giving you a dose of all four codes, which means you have no excuses as a human. Regardless of your code sequence, you can literally create and do anything by learning how to access and tap into and develop each piece of that code inside of you. Right?
Yes,
Like for me, these were my weakest links. Well, that meant I had to do deep dives in personality science. And I had to study and learn and study and learn. And then I had to build a framework. And that's hard. That was grueling. That's like nails on a chalkboard for an action personality type who would rather be out there playing and crushing it or closing sales to be in here trying to connect the dots and build the system that could be duplicatable, scalable, implementable, right? What are all the workbooks going to look like? Blah, blah, right?
Right.
But by developing each one of these, like you have different languages, by becoming conversational and then eventually fluent, you become a master of influence. You become extremely charismatic, and the world literally just gravitates and they're on pins and needles to hear every word you have to say because everyone in the audience, regardless of their code, is getting activated.
Got it.
And attracted.
Got it. Oh, that's interesting. Well, in closing, what is the one thing that you would, as we've had this conversation and I've gotten to know you, and really you're a special person. I really have enjoyed it and really looking forward to what the future holds before us.
Yeah.
And as we implement these types of things into our business practices, what's the one thing that you want people to know, whether it be about Cheri or you wanted to know about your company and or about the system in which we just talked about?
Yeah, I think it's important, like if you're going to just look at who we are as a company, our vision is to crack 8 billion codes, which is the code of every single human in the world, right? I mean, of course, population is growing, but the idea is that every single person in the world has a code. Like you watch it, you have a code, and you're either going to go to your grave with that code still locked inside of you, or you're going to meet a code breaker who's going to unlock access to that code so you have that self-understanding. And then our goal is to give them a key where they can go unlock the code of other people that are in their life.
Got it.
So our vision is 8 billion codes. Our mission is to connect and empower humanity. This has such an empowering aspect, and humanity is such a fractured, fragmented world right now. Like we are so disconnected more than ever before in the human race, and we need to come back together as a people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we believe this can do it. I've had people say this saved my marriage. I've had people say this made me a better parent. I've had people say this prevented suicide in our family. Like this code is deep because it's how humans are wired. I used it in the sales process. I had no idea it was going to have such a deep impact in life. And then our mantra became make people matter. I just wrote a book. Our second book that we just published is called Make People Matter. And that means, Bill, if I genuinely care about you, let's say I want to sell you a life insurance policy from Fit Life, or I want to recruit you to my agency. Like if I actually care about who Bill is, and I understand your code and what matters to you, and I make you matter, that means that I will deliberately and intentionally communicate in a way that you are designed to receive that because I care. And when I care about you, all of a sudden, this incredible possibility unlocks.
Got it.
You feel connected, you feel understood, and you're like, I want to be around you. I want to work with you. You inspire me. And when you make people matter, like that's what this world needs. So at FinFit Life, the agents are going to begin accelerating and deliberately making their clients matter, making their teammates matter. And the whole, like you said, a rising tide raises all ships.
Right.
This is going to exponentially accelerate the growth of your company.
Well, we are very, very excited, and it was a pleasure getting a chance to talk about this with you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the future.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. It's an honor to be here, and I'm excited to work with you.
Yeah, and so for all the rest of you that are out there, please share this with your friends because we believe that this is a game changer for you and for anybody you're working with. And most importantly, stay tuned to FitTalks. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.